A lot of the young people were for remaining, whereas a lot of the older generation was for leaving. So obviously when they left, a lot of young people felt like their voice hadn't been heard at all.
I felt really devastated.
I am extremely worried for the future of, well, Britain and the EU.
I think Britain leaving the EU is going to be, frankly, a bit of a disaster for the country.
It all just seems like a bit of a disaster.
yeah, basically.
I just think it's the worst decision that we will ever make. But I am hopeful that something better can come of it.
I guess they would have felt like their future was very bleak, and whether they will ever get like a chance to see the future they want. That would have been pretty scary for them. It would have like made them very anxious, which is one of the main reasons they voted in the next election. 57,987 young people registered to vote the day the election was announced.
My point is this. There's this poll that says it could be really, really close and neither side would get a majority. Now, that YouGov poll is different to all the other YouGov polls. That's the only one that says that. And the reason it says that is it was based on an 80% turnout among young people. So if 80% of young people turn out, it's entirely possible that it can change the election.
Encouraging young people to go out to vote has always been a tricky business during elections. But this time we saw a surge in the number of 18 to 25-year-olds going to the polls.
It's being called a youthquake, and it's left Britain's political establishment in a spin. The country's younger generation came out in force, flexed its political muscle and made a difference. An estimated 70% of people aged 18 to 24 turned out to vote. That's 30% more than the last general election.
Ever since Brexit happened, I think young people have felt the weight of their vote a bit more. I think they've really realised that they can make a difference, which has been shown in, the big young voter turnout.
Every election people say, if young people went out and voted, you could actually make a difference. And the Tories assume that they won't because they never do. This time they did.
It's not about winning or losing for me, it's about young people getting a voice and being able to express themselves and choosing somebody. Like, regardless of who wins or not, once the votes are counted, you're going to see an upturn in the amount of young people voting. And people have to understand that they have to listen to young people. You know what I mean? So that's the win for me.
Politics is changing in Britain. It's urban, cosmopolitan and young. This could be the shape of things to come.
All the research is showing that young people will be the first generation to be worse off than their parents.
We've gone through a phase in which older Australians are increasingly eating the future, and younger Australians haven't noticed.
Whether it's housing, education, wages, jobs, we need to make sure that we are getting the opportunities that generations before us had that we feel are being ripped away from us.
So in the 2016 federal election, the Australian Electoral Commission stated that 816,000 Australians were not enrolled to vote. Of that number, 254,432 were young people. Since the same-sex marriage survey, there has been an increase in young people who've enrolled to vote. 2/3 of 100,000 new voters were aged between 18 and 24. Young people can have an impact. At the moment, I believe there's like an opinion that it doesn't matter who we vote for, our voice doesn't matter, they're not going to listen to us either way. But it's quite obvious that if young people do turn up and vote, the politicians were more likely to pay attention to us. I guess the main takeaway is that if young people register to vote and actually vote during the elections, their voice can have a major impact on their future and the running of the country.
The more power young voters have, the more the government will have to listen to you in the future. So if you doubt it, the polls prove you can alter what happens next.
Politicians will be forced to listen to us a lot more. They won't have a choice because they'll be relying on our vote. So that's what I think.